Hello and welcome to Tech Anarchy, the Degenerates download. We are here with Dawn Sizer and myself, Henry Tim. Dawn, what are we hoping to talk about today?
All kinds of fun stuff. A whole lot of like, what is it exactly the tech degenerates are doing? Because we have gotten that question on repeat for the last year, and we want to make sure that everybody's pretty clear about what we're doing. So
Awesome.
that's one of the things that we're tackling today.
Awesome. And hopefully we'll be talking about what is this live stream. We'll go ahead and start digging into that. So we decided that we would start doing a monthly live stream here just to try and bring together because we have a lot of intelligent people throughout the community that have a lot of great information and expertise to share. And we thought we would use that to try to tackle some of the larger issues in the industry that we see. And I think what we're going to be doing this monthly.
We are doing it monthly, hopefully on the same day and time every month, depending on travel schedules, but that is the hope.
Very cool. And along with diving into those deeper topics, we're also going to briefly touch on some of the latest news that's happening in the industry. And we're going to try and identify people throughout the industry that you should know that should be cheerleaded and celebrated for the things that they're doing and contributing to the wider community. So if you do know someone that you think should be featured, be sure to let us know.
Awesome. So what else are we doing?
Let's talk about what the tech degenerates are.
All right, cool. So, for those of you that know who we are, you know there's a bunch of us, and we've created this pretty unique community within the channel and more than the channel, actually, because there are people there that are actually on the enterprise side, there's people on the vendor side, there are MSPs, there's all kinds of people that have created this really unique, supportive community called the Tech Degenerates. So, that's one piece of it.
And for those that don't know, we started actually as a group chat in between events for owners and vendors to be able to kind of keep up and share resources with each other. And we kind of exploded and grew from that group chat into at one point I was like 150 people in a maddening group chat that just went flew by all day long. Um, and over this last year, we decided that we needed to kind of put some controls in place around that to better um, tap some of the resources that were being shared so that other people could take advantage of them. So we migrated to Discord over this last year, and with the goal of making it so it's easier to find some of the more pertinent discussions that were happening that are important to you, as well as uh, giving more of a voice to different aspects of the channel as well.
100%. And for those of you that have dipped your toe into the Discord and went, oh, wow, that's a lot. It is a lot, but the flip side of that is not only is there the standard tech conversations happening, but there's a lot of cheerleading going on. There's talk about mental health going on. There's a lot of interesting things that aren't just tech related in there. It's the day to day too.
So let's meet some of the people behind the founding of this. We've got 10 people, founders in that were part of the initial core group. Let's bring everyone in here. If um, if you guys would, we'll start with Atul up at the top there. Would you give kind of a quick, brief explanation of what the Tech Degenerates is to you or means to you and what you hope to see us achieve?
Absolutely. So for me, it's about raising the bar for the industry as a whole. When we look at our industry, we're not regulated. There's a lot of, disparity in quality of service and product and all that. And so when I look at it, it's raising that bar and creating a standard around what we do as MSPs and really pushing everyone towards that standard and supporting each other through that mission and really making sure that we are representing MSPs as a whole in a positive light and ensuring that outside of the MSP community, we are shown as a positive influence.
Yeah, so the reason I really am passionate about this is because it really emphasizes one of the things that really drew me into the channel to begin with, which was the people and the relationships that you build you went along the way. As I attended conferences and started building, meeting people and making friends and and really getting to know people, the best, both business benefits that I got from the whole endeavor was what are those relationships, and that's really what the Degenerates are about. Are building a community where we can build those relationships without onus or agenda or anything like that. It's where we can actually collaborate and interact with each other without having to worry about numbers or things like that. It's a place where community can be a community. That's really why I'm passionate about this.
Awesome. JP?
Oh, I don't. I'm going to go on. I'll try to keep it short. For me, it was an extension of what our individual company had started, and when I started first going to events and seeing those conversations and those relationships uh, start building around bars at one point, and then it extended into dinners, and then as technology has it into calls and videos after the fact, and just that ability to have like-minded people have those conversations that Otto and Martin were talking about, and to be able to form this into something that we could all share and foster and be good stewards of our industry. One of the things that I find very unique in the tech industry, specifically the MSP, the hybrids of all of this, is that we typically don't meet competitors. We are all kind of have this underlying servant attitude that we want to help each other no matter what anyway. And so to have a group that is trying to pull all that together and foster that is something that I wanted to be a part of. And then just to be able to share that with these guys, an extended family, I no longer have to even contemplate the term work life balance. This is like a musician going home from a big gig and saying, "Hey, I got some other ideas. I'm going to keep working." And it's not really work. This is something that's it's beyond a career. This is a passion. So yeah.
Awesome. Craig?
I think cake is delicious, and that we should all have cake every day. And then the IT thing is just something on the side that we do, and that would be great. I just like hanging out with everybody, having a good time, learning. We learn a lot, bounce ideas off everybody. This group came together naturally. Tim, our fearless leader, is awesome. Nobody gives him enough credit, which we do daily, actually, secretly behind the scenes. But I really just like everybody here. I mean, we all get along great. We do a great job together, and the whole goal is to make it better as it is now. Because as we know, it's not so great out there most of the time, and it's just something that's always moving forward, and I enjoy it all the time.
Awesome.
And Brian's awesome too, by the way. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, other than his sports team choices, but
Oh, come on now.
Brian?
Well, to build off of what Craig said, I think there's so much to dissect in our tech world. A focus on community that builds camaraderie, it builds friendships. And ultimately, you get to a point where you need to learn in order to feel confident with your business, and to build off of all of that. So, I think it starts with a community. Community builds camaraderie, and then you get into all of these nuances with our individual businesses and how we're trying to go through all this, and you feel confident with it based off of that. So, you know, it's a new type of learning, and it just leads to our collective success.
Awesome. Don, you have anything you want to add?
I mean, you guys have covered it pretty well. The only thing I think I can add to this is what a lot of people on the outside don't know, and whether they're clients or just other people in different industries, is like you guys have alluded to. we all do want to help each other. It's not a lot of competition out there, especially, but one of the things that Craig said, other than cake, because I also agree with that, is it's hard. It's really hard. Running a business is hard. Dealing with clients is hard. People think that we're the root of all evil sometimes, and it's not like we do it to you. So it's hard to deal with that mentally. It's hard to deal with that emotionally. It's hard to deal with a lot of that. So it's great that we have people in this group, in this community that help support us day to day too.
Yeah. No, and to me, I think a large part of this was getting away from, and I know we've talked about it previously, is getting away from the ivory tower education centers that have popped up there, where people gatekeep a lot of the knowledge and resources for profit, or to say that there is one way and only one way to be successful. And I think the people on this call, both on the presenter side as well as those attending, can attest to the fact that we all have found our own pathway to success that looks very, very different. Yes, there are some frameworks and guidelines that help us achieve that, but what success looks like to me looks like very different to someone else, and I think that those differences are things that should be celebrated. So that's one of the things that I'm particularly very happy about with this group is people lifting each other up and celebrating each other for those differences. So, but along that line, Dawn, what things are the tech degenerates working on as far as community?
Oh my gosh, there are so many things that we are working on currently on the community side of things. We have got oh geez, we have peer groups coming. We have events coming. We have all kinds of interesting things coming in the community itself. Like I said, whether it's the Discord, whether you're seeing us out and about. So there's educational pieces coming. There's all kinds of things, but a lot of that is driven by our members, and we are taking that to heart. So if you have suggestions, if you have needs, we want to hear about them. So please let us know if there are other things that we can be doing for the community beyond, providing a community to be a part of, making sure that you're getting educated in some way, being out at events, you name it. Let us know.
I guess it's kind of a larger question for the panel here is what do you think we should be trying to tackle for the community, and what needs do you see out there from the wider community? If anyone wants to hop in.
Bueller. Bueller. Such a chatty group today.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to everything. How about that? Is that good? Is that not good enough? Come on, JP. You got some always. JP has always got something to say.
All right. So, one of the things I think would be interesting for the community as a whole is to really kind of get a little more structure to the events, get a little more structure to what the topics need to be, that are not driven by necessarily the vendors and what they're saying the topics need to be. Also, what I like about this is I can call up this group, whether it's on Discord or to this, utilizing this medium, is to be able to talk about ideas and issues that we may be facing as owners or um, the engineering teams that we all have with us, to be able to bring those to the table that we can all kind of at once talk about. It just means so much to me to be able to sit here and have a place to go talk to and get the ideas from the vendors, from you guys, from the community, and as a whole. So
Awesome.
One of the great benefits is it's more of a real world value because everybody here has experiences that we all share, and good or bad, whenever somebody in the group has an issue or a problem or wants to solve an issue, people have real knowledge. It's not something they just make up. They've actually have probably have experienced that and are able to share that information, which is something that you cannot put a value on. It is exponentially valuable when you are able to avoid something that you would normally have accidentally stepped into. So I would say from my company's perspective, it definitely has helped us because it helps when we share the knowledge that I avoid the mistakes that others have done in the past. So
Those are always some of
that's
the
it.
best conversations too, quite
I
frankly.
agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's what it revolves around, right? I mean, what JP and Craig are saying is the conversations. The conversations can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. I mean, it can be about strictly business, obviously, and it could be about our, your stack, your security stack. It could be around mentorship. It could be around workforce. It could be around a lot of stuff. But it all comes back to conversation and having those and having them be meaningful.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I really have liked seeing is some equalization between whether you're an MSP or a vendor or an MSSP or whatever term you want to call yourself, is that everyone kind of comes to the table as equals, and whether you're in your first year or you've been around for 30 years, there's still something you can learn and to teach other people in the space. So I think being a place to share some of those resources in fostering that equal environment and values is huge.
Yeah.
Um,
I think to piggyback on what you're saying is it's very nice to have conversations, but with vendors when they're not driven by a quota or something like that. So having a place where we can meet and engage in an area that doesn't have those pressures, like every conference you go to, there's the onus is to get signups or whatever for most vendor groups, and some of the best relationships I've made have been in this format where we've been able to do so without any pressures and without any constraints on the conversation because there's an agenda they have to get to at the end. So, and kind of piggyback on what JP is saying and having the community drive some of those educational pieces on what people want to learn, what people need to learn, what gaps they're actually having rather than conversations that are driven by a product or something like that. That's, I think, a really useful component of it as well.
Very true.
Well, I want to add to that as well that one of the things I think is important to everything that we're saying is what we all want is the ability to that, that new vendor to be able to come and have a place to ask questions that they may not know what questions to actually ask. The same with the new tech person, MSP, whatever. Can we all just agree we're going to call it MSPs for the moment, at least until a better term gets out there? I don't want to try to be so politically correct in calling everybody however they refer to their business. So we're just going to use the term MSP. So that a new MSP comes out onto the market, or maybe they've only been out for a while, and they're a little more, lack of a better word, shy to even ask questions or to even know what questions to ask. That's that mentorship piece of it that so many of us can do, and we might not even know we're doing it. But from a selfish reason, for all of us that are doing this, we all should be trying to teach somebody something because it makes us sharper in our own businesses. And so I'm super grateful when we get together or we have events or we're at on a panel like this that we're able to share openly our ideas and even take that constructive criticism back and sharpen our own minds with it. So I really enjoy that and want to see more of that.
So aside from the Discord, there's also peer groups that there's kind of an informal peer group that's meeting
We have
current.
we have an informal peer group that meets every other Thursday right now, and it's a small group. They like their group, and it's been going on for about a year now, which is kind of interesting with the same people. And we'll probably start more of those.
And then there's a couple different working groups that are also meeting around different subjects, primarily one of those being around the CompTIA trust mark. We can discuss that a little bit more later here, but um, it seems to be kind of this whole community portion of things is kind of facilitating those connections and resource sharing. Community, of course, being one of our four core tenets behind the Tech Degenerates. I do want to talk about the other three, though. Um, I know tools and resources are something that are constantly in being requested from MSPs or by MSPs from their vendors. There's some good stuff that's out there. But what's a tool or resource that you guys have found from the community that's assisted your organization, or what's something that you would like to see created?
I mean, the calendar that you have posted currently, I think is one of the biggest resources that I use on the regular as far as that goes. It's I'm constantly looking for ways to increase the education for me and my staff, that kind of thing. So it's there, it's available, we can see what's going on, and whether it's a live stream, an actual event, but it's constant education because, like JP said, we have to stay sharp, and that's an easy way to do it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's. I think that there's a lot of great resources still to be created out there. I know that one of the things that a lot of us have been doing as we've been asked to do more speaking engagements is try to make sure that there's some type of deliverable for MSPs to walk away with, so that it's not just hearing a regurgitated talk that you've heard 10 times from the same vendor type of scenario. Is hopefully that there's something there that gives you actionable takeaways to take back to your business. And I know there are some worksheets and templates and so forth that have also been created here. Probably most recently, I saw someone or within our TTD community had done the kind of what happens when you die to your business, not necessarily a death of yourself, but kind of future proofing and things that you need to discuss and think about for the future of your business. Not, whether that's death or sale or, I Brian, I know you guys just went through transition into an employee owned organization. Mind talking a little bit about that and what the goal was behind that? And
Yeah, sure. So, there was always a question of what's after, what's next, what's coming up. Um, we transitioned just recently into an ESOP, and are really looking forward to what that brings. There's more to come on it. We're at the very stages. It was literally announced about a week ago, not even a week ago, and it's something that is a huge benefit for our employees, which is why we are where we are and who we are. Um, and in addition to their benefits package and 401k and all of those other things, this is something else that shows that we are invested, not only in our community and with our clients, but also with our employees. And we're real excited to see of what that is, because we're celebrating 25 years this year. We had an owner, 100% owner, for that entire time. And this is a very viable option for ownership, and it gives back to the employees, and really shows how invested we are with them. So yeah, if anyone needs to get information about that, they've been talking about it, they've been thinking about it, they've been doing whatever, feel free to reach out to me, and I can share our experience.
awesome. Don, I know you've been giving a lot of presentations lately about AI and automation. You mind touching base on some of the resources that you've been sharing?
Yeah. So I was actually making a list here of some of the stuff that I've seen float through Discord. So I'm going to flip through that first, then I'll talk about some of the other stuff. We've had, framework working groups, whether it's Trustmark or CIS or whatever. So there's a resource for that. Plenty of people have floated job descriptions around, which I think is fantastic. Quite frankly, it is hard to write a job description. So everybody that has to hire people has had to write a job description at some point. Chances are you can just ask for one and somebody's got that. Best practices are another thing, whether they are written or you're having a conversation about them. You're going to find that as a resource, and also the business resources, whether it's something super simple like this is how we do a thing, or a long conversation about how to turn 100% person-owned group into an employee-owned one. That's a long conversation because we're going down that road too, and it takes a hot minute to do. On the
It
other
does.
side of things, as far as resources that you're going to see from us personally, professionally, that kind of stuff, whether we're presenting somewhere or you can catch us on the side and be able to get it, we've had everything from like how to build out marketing assets, bulk process kind of things to cut down time, to how to build automations, to how to use AI structurally inside of your own business to write policy, get you documentation, or even tell you what you need to pass an audit. We've done very specific information about that. So there are resources out there for you. You just have to know either where to look, who to talk to, or you just ask nicely and somebody passes you something that'll probably save you a couple days out of your month at some point, and away you go. I know I just shared one with Craig last night. He was looking for, how do I figure out licensing for 365? And there's actually something called 365 Maps where you just kind of click through it and it tells you exactly which license you need.
Very cool.
And if I can figure that out, anybody can figure that out. Just want to point it out there. Just because I'm the master button clicker doesn't mean I know everything.
Perfect. Well, and just kind of touch briefly on some roadmap items we have in the tools and resources that are being worked on. I know that we are in process of kind of collating a library of those resources for people to be able to browse in the future, as well as building out some tools that I know we all kind of wish existed or that we had out there as far as identifying other MSPs in the channel that might be able to help with completing a job or posting jobs or finding a job for employment. I know that we're also working on some tools around events as well. So not just a calendar of all the events that are happening, but also giving you the ability to drive down or drill down into those events and find out better information about who's actually going to be there, sharing resources back and forth while you're there, and following some of your favorite people in the industry. So,
I think I think the security channel in the Discord is something I'd like to touch on at least. Whenever something happens, that thing fires up quickly, and conversation around whatever is going on. Say like the CrowdStrike instance, for example, the fixes were posted very quickly in there, and some pretty heavy hitters in the security industry were weighing in on and do continually in that. So it's a great resource when you're maybe don't know how to react to. It's a great resource to go and ask for advice or help figure out what's going on with those instances. It's a great tool.
And adding on to that, I don't know that I have ever asked for help in the Discord where I didn't have multiple hands immediately go up. So if you do run into an incident, if you have something going on and you need help, chances are you're going to have resources at your fingertips.
so related to the tools and resources, obviously education plays a huge role in what we do because the industry is constantly evolving. Running a business is not an easy task to undertake. And I know that a lot of us are getting involved in different speaking engagements and educating opportunities throughout the industry. What are some ones that you guys are currently involved in that you're excited about?
So I'll be at ScaleCon coming up, which is exciting for me as far as that goes. It's a first time event for one, but also we're talking about account management there, how to build out an account management program. So we'll start from, customer service rep the whole way up through VCIO in a half an hour. So it's going to go really fast, but it's something I haven't seen before at an event. So it's exciting to be able to present on it. So that's a good one, I think. I hope. We'll see.
Awesome. and I know that there's some virtual events coming up. JP, you just did one with a vendor in regards to endpoint hardening. Um,
Yes,
you,
Cention. That was he's still running through the series on how to harden up the three or your local computers, and specifically the 365 and the Chrome browser. So as it relates to CIS controls.
very cool. And Atul, you just did one, I believe, with SureWeb.
Correct, with on cybersecurity, cyber insurance, and the changes that we're seeing and the requirements that are being requested by cyber providers. So it was a good conversation about that. We're hoping to continue to have additional conversations about stuff like that moving forward.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that, and I think that engagement out there, whether that's with a vendor or just at large in the community at events, is huge to kind of democratize some of that education piece that's out there, rather than paywalling or gatekeeping it. So,
Exactly.
um,
One of the other
encouraging to see that.
One of the other things that we should mention is Channel Pro reaches out very frequently to members of the Discord community as well as the community at large. And one of the resources for education is simple commenting on things that are topical. So you'll find that, a lot of the articles that are being written, whether it's by CRN or Channel Pro or any of the other ones that are out there, a lot of your peers are providing information out there. So make sure you're reading some of those articles because some of them are very good and you're getting best practices from the MSPs that are, providing the information.
Awesome. All right, so we've gotten through 3 of the 4 tenets. Last one is about our consulting and enablement that we're doing with vendors and MSPs out there. We kind of jokingly have said that we're charging vendors to be able to afford to help MSPs suck less. Um, I know though that we all are kind of in a while we do have successful businesses and the accolades to go with it and a lot of experience in the industry. I know a lot of us still constantly are coming across struggles and challenges where having that feedback, both from an advisory standpoint as well as a peer standpoint, is massive. And our group has been largely made out of vendors and MSPs alike, sharing that advisory back and forth. So, do you guys want to touch briefly on kind of what you're hoping to help contribute to some of the vendors in the space as well as some of the MSPs in the space?
I'll start. I mean, I think for us, when I look at it, it's helping vendors understand how the MSPs are receiving their message. I think a lot of times, vendors come to market, they don't quite understand the MSP industry the way they should, and helping them, guide them, make them understand how we need to operate differently. What are the pain points we have when it comes to their solution, and understand how it needs to adapt to our environments is critical. And so we have to emphasize that with them and work with them on that and help guide them so that way they can be the best partners that are out there for us.
I'll add to that it is, I think there is a misconception that we are the audience that they need to be selling to, and we're not. The MSPs, we have our own clients and those end users that need to understand that technology is a good thing and there is some evil behind it as well that it needs to be protected from. And so that ability to educate those, one of our missions here, I think, is really, like Henry was saying and Otto was commenting on, was to be able to help those vendors understand that one particular message is that if you're going to sell something, sell it as if you're selling your competitor, with so that the education part comes out more than the selling part comes out. And so I think that's just an easy takeaway from that. But I think, like you said, Henry, to help all of us suck less.
There's a constant evolution in the MSP world that needs to be constantly communicated. to the vendors and the partners and everyone else that's there. And since they're not in it on a day-to-day basis and it's constantly evolving, then we need to make sure that they know that. And once again, it goes back to conversation, community, and the camaraderie that we build, not just among ourselves, is this, a smaller community, but with vendors, with MSPs, and making sure that it all works together.
When it's the intentionality of all of it, right? You can have the conversations, you can do the thing that makes you money, but it's the intentionality of all of it that makes the difference, right? So connecting on a personal level, not creating a transaction, and that's what creates the situation that we all want, and not everyone gets that. So there's a lot of education that has to go on ahead of time. And Dylan was right, and that was a super meaningful comment, and I really appreciate that. Um, Talking about that intentionality with him when we first started was huge, and understanding what the solution providers and the MSPs are in the channel, how we function. And it's great that they have a solution, but how do I deal with that with my client? And I think that was a great way that JP was explaining. Like, it's hard. Again, this business is really hard because you're taking really difficult topics and translating them down. And a lot of vendors stay with that really difficult topic because they're selling to the MSP and not necessarily translating it the whole way through the supply chain the way that they should.
I think a large part of that comes from vendors either coming from the enterprise market, not understanding how to approach the MSP market, or they're a startup that just does not have any experience with the challenges that we face and that our clients face. So I think it's very important that someone acts as the translator for that.
And I think,
So,
oh,
so does that mean don't come to the boardroom and say you have a bucket of fish to sell? Is that what you mean, Henry? Because I think that's what you mean.
Yeah.
I
well,
love that
It's
analogy
intent.
though, because
Is
it is true to what we're trying to say here is, okay, the word sell just needs to be obliterated. It just needs to go away. And so helping us implement a product and explain why to the end users, all the way down to how it's going to help them, how it needs to be integrated into their workflows. All of those things are what we're all kind of talking about here. I think you kid with the bucket of fish, but I mean, if you're going to bring that to a restaurant, you got to talk to the chef. You got to talk to the sous chefs that are prepping it on how to pull out the bones, and you've got to go through that educational process. That's the new selling that needs to happen. Sorry, I'm going to go on a rant here. This one's a big
well
one for me.
and I think
to
that
to piggyback. Sorry, go ahead, Martin. Go ahead.
I think that feeds in whether they're coming from the enterprise space or they're a new vendor that is really excited about a product that they know is going to be a useful thing. I think they enter the MSP channel without understanding the relational nature of how the MSP channel works, and so if you're going in and engaging with a if I get enough touches, I can get enough sales, and I can make this product work. It's not the right approach for the MSP channel. Building relationships and to JP's point, educating about why and how and how you're a good partner, because it's not just the product, it's also the quality of the partnership, and I think that's another thing that's very heavily overlooked. So I think educating vendors on that component of it is probably one of the biggest focuses as well.
I'm
Yeah, and
so
I
going to
agree
be using the
with
fish
Martin,
analogy now.
100%. Like it's about. I honestly think it's not about selling your product. It's about selling partnership. That's what you should be preaching is how you're a partner to the MSP, not about the product, because there's a ton of products that do the same thing. But who are the partners that are truly invested in your growth and success? And those are the partners we should be gravitating to. And we need to help those vendors send that message and establish that message.
And I
And
think
it's,
most MSPs can smell a mile away when a vendor is approaching things from a transactional standpoint,
Exactly.
and that just torpedoes any potential relationship there. So,
well,
sorry,
and
JP.
bringing that back into our, the community's mentorship to not only the vendors but the MSPs, the new ones, that are just starting out may not understand that. So being able to lift all ships and have better MSPs coming to this workplace, because we're all not going to be around forever. To be able to come in and pick up and have newer and better ideas, uh, their understanding on how they need to utilize these products and how they need to be sold to is something that we're going to be passing along as part of our education to those. I mean, that's part of what we're trying to do here as well. So,
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for hopping on with us today. I know this is going to be a slightly different format in the future, but wanted to have this initial discussion with everyone kind of about what we are, what we're doing, and kind of our aspirations, since there seems to often be some confusion out there in the community. But Dawn, I wanted to kind of dig in more into some of the upcoming things that we do on a regular basis, um,
Yeah.
that people can get involved with.
Yeah, 100%. So the second Thursday of every month, we actually do an after hours happy hour. Obviously, we're doing the live stream here. We will get these out and posted in Discord as well. But there's a CompTIA Trustmark working group. We do that every Thursday afternoon. So whether you are working through CompTIA Trustmark, if you're working through CIS, whatever you're working through, a lot of the requirements are the same. Pop in, happy to talk it through if you need some help with something, or figure out what an auditor might be looking for, as far as what documentation you have. A lot of times CompTIA is actually there. They have a representative in, so they're able to answer some of those questions for us, which is fantastic. I know I've gotten a ton of help with that, which is great. And then we also have our informal peer groups, and those are bi-weekly. Those are actually in the evenings on Thursdays. There was just one last week, so not this week, but next there'll be another one coming up. We're trying to keep those groups fairly small, just from the standpoint of people get really comfortable when the groups are small and are able to share really well. Those groups get very tight. Um, Friend DAs essentially happen inside of there. So we talk a lot about business processes, exactly what's going on. When we have an issue, how do we fix that? We've even had emails going back and forth with some of the members, like, I want to send this email, please give me your thoughts on this particular thing. So there's a lot of stuff that go on every week, actually, in the Tech Degenerates. But that's just some of them. And if you're looking for more, please let us know. We'll be happy to expand on that.
Awesome. And then aside from that, we're also involved in a lot of upcoming in-person events, as well as virtual events. I know several of us are going to be at TechCon Unplugged later this week. Dawn, I think you're doing a presentation on.
Copilot. So we're doing Copilot with policies and some auditing stuff there. So I'm going to dive into a lot of AI, a lot of generative AI, and figuring out like which one you should use where. But the focus is going to be on Copilot for the most part. And what are you tackling at TechCon Unplugged? Because I know you are there too, Henry.
Yeah, so I'm going to be there. Matt Topper and I are going to be doing a workshop on building a compliance program for your MSP, and whether or not you should, in fact, be looking to do so as an MSP, depending on your size and organizational goals.
And I
So,
think I think you're on right before me, so that works out really well. So it's, should you do a compliance program? And if you're going to do a compliance program, I can then take that into AI and show you how to do some of the documentation for it.
right, it should be good. And then there will be several of us at the MSP Community Minds in Denver, Colorado. They'll be covering everything, and it's primarily peer discussions that are happening from panelists discussing things about cybersecurity, some of the latest on CMMC, and other compliance requirements, as well as how to bootstrap an MSP. So if you don't have a pile of Scrooge McDuck money tucked away to start your organization, how do you get started, and how do you grow? So there'll be some awesome discussions there. And then Dawn, I think you're doing ASCII Edge.
I will be at ASCII Edge. I'm actually bringing my biggie me. So if you've never met one of my kids, you'll be able to see him there. He's actually, I think, like 6'4" now, so he towers over me. But I'm talking about automation and specifically business automation, not necessarily just, how to use your RMM. We can all figure that out, but how to save time in your business and some of the things that you do all day, every day. So we'll be walking through some of that at ASCII Edge.
Awesome. Jason, we'll get a link put out in the comments, or hop into the Discord, and we can get you the calendar invite there as well for the Trustmark
Yep,
meetings.
100%.
And then there'll be ScaleCon in Vegas. I know you talked briefly about that earlier. Super excited to see that event coming together. I hear Nigel's things changed and he's able to be there now.
I did hear that, which is super exciting. So I will actually get to meet him in person. So yeah, going to ScaleCon. If you don't know Tahir, he actually has a company called MSP Camp, and they do MSP marketing. So that's an interesting thing to take a look at. Tech Tribe also, that's been around for a long time. So if you haven't taken a look at that, by all means do. But the two of them came together and said, you know what, we're going to do a business and marketing event, and apparently they're doing a lot of no pitch at this, which should be super exciting. And one of the things that I'm presenting on there is how to build out an account management side to your business. So there's
Awesome.
that. And if you
And
need a
then,
discount code, it's right there on the screen.
awesome. And then we're super excited to announce that we are partnering with IT Nation this year. So we will actually have a Tech Degenerates track, or a mini track within IT Nation this year, focused on bringing together a lot of our community to kind of share information back and forth. I know we're doing a session on CMMC and the things you don't know about it, or may have misunderstandings about. There's a session on cybersecurity and what things you need to put in place so that you can sleep better at night. And then we'll be talking about something I know is near and dear to a lot of the degenerates, is personal wellness, is the mental and physical health aspect of things. So excited to see that we'll have several community members there representing us, discussing those topics. But as part of that partnership, they people at ConnectWise have graciously given us an amazing discount code for our community members. So down there at the very bottom, you will see a discount code that is kind of the discount code of discount codes. It outperforms any of the others that are out there, and we're super excited that we were able to negotiate that with them. I'm very, very, very thankful to them for their support of our community and our members. So
Yes, thank you very much, ConnectWise.
Virtually, I'm going to be co-hosting MSP Media Network's Community Live Friday live stream this Friday. And then I know several of us are going to be involved. Finn and Empath are doing their cyber deep dive coming up here as well. Be kind of sharing resources and knowledge around things that have helped grow our businesses.
Yeah, that's the beginning of October. I think that's actually the second week of October is when that is, and like the 9th and 10th, if I recall correctly, or somewhere around there. So double check with Finn and Empath. You'll be able to see that there, and we'll be throwing up probably in Discord how to get connected. And I think we both have links for that as well.
Yep. And along that lines, let's take a moment to thank some of the communities and vendors that have been gracious sponsors to our community to help us kind of get off the ground and support our vision and what we're trying to build here. So want to take a moment to thank Channel Pro Network for their support, CompTIA, Infima Security, and ThreatLocker for really going above and beyond to help support us in what we're trying to do.
Yep. And if you want to become another supporter, please reach out and let us know.
Awesome. And for those that want to join the Degenerates, how do they go about doing that?
Well, sometimes you have to know somebody, but in this case, you can go directly to the website, www.thetechdegenerates.com. You can go to the Discord, which the link is right there. We have a monthly happy hour. You'll see that in the Discord. You'll find it on all of our socials as well. And social media. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, and we are on Facebook as well. And I believe we even have an Instagram somewhere, though we don't
Gotta be
post
on all
there
the
very.
things now, right?
I know, right? There's so many different places to post, but typically you're going to find us on Facebook and LinkedIn, especially as we are announcing things, and we're always available on Discord.
Awesome. Well, thank you to everyone that joined us today and for the comments from the wider community there. And thank you to everyone of the founders that hopped on today to kind of discuss this. I know this is kind of a non-traditional version of what we have planned for the live stream, but we thought it
Oh,
was important
you know what
to.
we forgot?
What's that?
We forgot next time what we're talking about.
Oh, yes.
We did. So, like, there's always a next time, right?
Right.
So, the next live stream is going to be all about events. We have a couple confirmed guests for this, and we'll be announcing them shortly. But it's everything you didn't know about events, what goes into it, how they pay for them, all the things that you need to know as an MSP, so you know which ones to go to, which ones are worth your time to go to, which ones maybe not. We don't know. We'll find out. So join
Yep.
us next time, and we'll talk about events.
And a little peek under the hood too, as far as things that you may not know about events, as far as what makes it tick, what the actual cost of things truly are, and why there are bills that have to be paid and how that gets done. So that will be on October 9th, second Wednesday of every month was the plan for this live stream. So look forward to joining you then. Yeah.